Fundamentals of Accounting, we're going to take a look at Chapter 6-8A in your textbook. And for 8A, we're going to be preparing closing entries and a post-closing trial balance and adjusting entries. So I have two things here. This is a copy from your textbook of problem 7A for the worksheet that we have to refer to get all of our information from. Then here on the left-hand side, we have our three tabs. Okay, so down here at the bottom you have the journal, then you're going to have to do your ledgers, and then you're going to have to do your statements. So you'll notice that in the ledger accounts, if there was a balance over here under the trial balance, it's been filled in here. So like our capital account had an $8,000 credit balance, so here's the balance. When I scroll over, there's the $8,000 previous balance. So all of these balances here have been put over into the ledger accounts. And then we'll prepare the post-closing trial balance on tab 3. So let's start on the journal, and we're going to do our adjusting entries. Okay, so the adjusting entries are always on the last day of the month. So if I look at my trial or my worksheet, it's month ended January 31st. Okay, so everything here on the journal is dated January 31st. So all I have to do is look at my adjustments and see what happens. So here is my supplies expense for the 300 and my supplies for 300. So that was my first journal entry. So I debited supplies expense for 300 and credited supplies also for 300. I'm trying to get it to where you can see everything. Then B, my next one, was my prepaid insurance. So I debited insurance expense, credited prepaid insurance. Then I had my wages expense and wages payable, and then my depreciation expense and my accumulated depreciation. So that comes directly from these adjustment columns here. We'll come back to the post-referencing after we post. So then I'm going to go to my closing entries. Now remember that closing entries, we close our temporary accounts, REID. First we'll close our revenue, then we close our expenses, then we close our income summary, then we close our drawing. So REID. So to find my revenue, I'm going to first of all look at my income statement accounts. This is the best place for me to find everything that I'm going to need to do my closing entries. So the first one is I'm going to close my revenue. This is my revenue. Well, I didn't want that to show up. This is my revenue account right here. Well, let me move it. Alright, so this 4,700 is my revenue account, because if I follow that all the way over, that's going to be my repair fees. Alright, so that's the first account I'm going to close. Right now it says it has a credit balance, so in order to make it zero, I need to offset that with a debit balance. So I'm going to debit repair fees, and I'm going to put it into my income summary account. Then I'm going to close all my expense accounts. These are all of my expense accounts right here. Okay, so this is step 1, step 2, all my expense accounts. And they all have debit balances so to close them and make them zero, I'm going to credit all of their accounts. Okay, and then add all of that up, which it's already added up for you, 3,862 here on the right, and then type that amount in there. So that's step 2. And then the next step, I'm going to close my income summary account. Now my income summary account, if you look here, I credited it for 4,700, then I debited it for 3,862. So the difference of that is going to be my net income. Revenues minus total of expenses is net income, and that happens to be $838, which also happens to be your line over here, this 838. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then my drawing has 1,100 debit, so I'm going to credit it and then put that into my capital account. Then what we do is we go over here and do all of the posting. So you kind of have to flip back and forth, and we're going to run out of time. But all the accounts, first I have to post my adjustment. So I always write adjusting, came from J10, and I write the amount and calculate the new balance. So first we do all of our adjusting entries, then we do our closing entries. So you'll notice that closing entries had capital account affected twice from over here. And back over to our ledger accounts, income summary was the step 1, step 2, step 3. And then when that's all said and done, I'm going to go to my post-closing trial balance, and only my permanent accounts will have balances left based on what's in my ledger, and I'll put those amounts in here, and then I will balance.